Let's do it. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining the proper Scoundrels or the improper Scoundrels or the proper somebodies. Who knows what we are?
Yeah.
We're glad to have you. Come on in. Take your shoe off. Just the right one, though. Leave the left shoe on. You may need it.
What if they're left-handed?
That it's still the left shoe. You got to have the left shoe on. I think, isn't that the rule? Like, if you fall asleep with one shoe on, it better be the left shoe.
Never heard that.
I might have just made it up.
I think so.
Probably. I do that sometimes.
You don't say.
Yeah. Sometimes I just come up with stuff that sounds like a good idea and I just roll with it like it's fact. Things that are not fact or that are not made up that are in fact fact. Yeah.
In fact.
And factually factual. Dakota Myers has re-enlisted into the Marines at 36 years old.
Yeah. And, it's kind of like we were talking a little bit offline. Like, I think this is like the recruit numbers are so bad right now. I really can't see him going back to his old job,
What was his job? Do you know?
He was an infantryman, but he was also a designated marksman within the platoon. So kind of did all that stuff.
I did not have time today to read the article. I was like deep in radiation. I don't know. I didn't. I saw the article in passing and I was like, yeah, that's a dick move right there. and look, I have a lot of respect for Dakota Myers. I think he's one of the few stories that I know of recipients that I still like because I've changed my mind about some of them. And Romachet is still up there for me. Still like that dude.
That dude is awesome.
Yeah. So for our civilian watchers, listeners, participants, the Congressional Medal. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to be able to talk tonight. The Congressional Medal of Honor is received. It is not won. It is not, you receive that. And it's only appropriate to address those people as recipients, not winners. Because most of them will tell you that what they went through to receive that medal was not a win. Maybe the outcome was, but I've not ever seen a interview with any of them where they didn't correct somebody and say, I'm a recipient.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but a Medal of Honor recipient is saluted by everybody in the military. And there's some rules that are kind of weird out there, but I can tell you from experience and from knowledge that most anybody who walks up on a Medal of Honor recipient is going to offer a salute. And it does not matter if they are one rank above, two ranks below, or the general of the Army. They're not going to salute the person, they're going to salute the medal.
Mm.
And just like I never saluted an officer, I saluted the rank. And so it's like this old guy, 36 in the military is like people start retiring, has re-entered the Marine Corps and is going to be an active duty Medal of Honor recipient.
Oh, he's going active?
That's the way that was the headline that I saw. So, and we have discussed here before, and we've heard it discussed on numerous channels that a lot of people who are very popular outside of the military are recruitment tools.
Yeah.
And so there have been other Medal of Honor recipients and other Medal of Valor recipients that have become very popular as a recruitment tool because somebody has made a really good story out of something. There's been movies, you know, and it's like, okay, that's a lot. Um, but you know, there's not many that are still in the military, and I want to know how many promotion points a Medal of Honor gets you. Because like, if he comes back in as a sergeant, he could probably make staff sergeant or gunnery sergeant very fast.
Yeah, if he's not a gun, man, like, come on now.
Yeah,
Like, send
and
him to SLC or whatever the Marine Corps calls it, and, like, let him pin that shit.
yeah, and it's like, can you imagine being a young 24-year-old, 26-year-old staff sergeant, and here comes Dakota Myers. He's now your sergeant.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what to tell you to do.
Hey, Sarge, we're gonna go and be on the field. Like, if you need us for anything, you let us know. But you stay right here. We're gonna go train.
You know, you and I have both known quite a few veterans, and some that we would ring out with dishwater, and some that were very well esteemed. They have something in common in that they kind of miss that environment, they miss that world, they miss being in. And I wonder if that is what motivated him to reenlist.
Yeah. So, like, I've been following Dakota Meyer on like social media for years now, and he's done a lot of stuff in the civilian world. Like, he was a volunteer fireman. He had that baby mama drama there for a little while. He was in paramedic school. Don't know if he finished it. I don't care, but I know he was doing that. He started like his own companies and doing all this stuff, and just it's odd, but good for him.
Yeah. I talked to a veteran recently, not anybody that I know. I just kind of met him, and we discussed the fact that he was a veteran. And he even echoed that sentiment that, you know, he's like, the job that I have is it's purely ceremonial.
Mm,
He's like, I work as a security consultant for a large banking company, uh, but it's mostly because they can say they have a veteran
mm,
uh, as a consultant, and it's like, ride it, open six figures, man,
yeah.
go get it. I don't mind at all. But he also he's like, the civilian world is just so broken,
Hmm.
you know. And there's been a lot of people who've spoken out on the high probability that numerous successful soldiers, Marines, airmen, seamen, what do you call a Coast Guard person? Coast
You
Guardian?
don't call them. You don't call them anything.
They'll show up anytime you need them. They
They're
are
not a
the
branch. They're a twig.
they are the sweetest people on the planet.
We've got a pilot that's like currently in the Coast Guard reserves, and I really hope he sees this. You're a twig. You're not a branch. You're a twig.
I firmly disagree. And um, like there's a I've had a few, you know, of those memory dreams where it's like, man, I should have gone into the Coast Guard. That would have been so cool. I would have never had to leave home. I'd been always on the beach, be driving around in cool boats and wearing shorts all the time. And like, I am firmly for them. There have been Coast Guard Medal of Honor recipients.
One.
Okay, but that still counts. I mean, I mean, did you see the movie The Guardian?
I did. I seen it.
I mean, ever since I read the story of The Perfect Storm, the Andrea Gale, I have always held in esteem the Coast Guard. I mean, so they take care of us. They don't give a shit about geopolitics. They don't care nothing. They're just protecting their guys.
Hmm.
They are like a branch of docs. That's it. So if you don't know about a doc is one of those people who will simultaneously stack and unstack bodies in the battlefield because their people are theirs. They are like a rabid mother cat.
Hell yeah.
And they, and it doesn't matter if they're a Navy corpsman, uh, Air Force medic, rescue, PJ, or even a Army medic who is actively a doc. If they're working down in the TMC, to hell with them. They just, I think they wear scrubs now. So weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a real doc, you know, those are the true badasses, the paladins of the battle. And that's what, like, that's just the Coast Guard. They're like, hey, we're in Yemen protecting our boats, except that one time. And well, and you know, that was a horrible event that happened, but man, that empowered those guys. Have you ever been boarded by the Coast Guard?
No.
I have.
How'd you get boarded by the Coast Guard?
I was with some friends down on the Gulf of America, and we were out in a boat doing some fishing and drinking. And as we were coming in, the Coast Guard came onto our boat, and man, I swooned a little. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was some real motherfucking men that came up there, and one who was still very manly, but not a real man. And they looked at our fish, they looked at our trash, and they thanked us for not putting it in the ocean, and made sure that the guy driving the boat was good to go, and then just walked away. And I was just like, badass. I ain't mad. It was a fun time. I offered them a beer. They were like, stone faced, looked at me, and they said no. I was intimidated. I was like, damn, you didn't even accept it as a joke? No.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So don't make fun of the Coast Guardians. I don't know what they call themselves. You know,
yeah, I will continue to make fun of them.
I will not. I love them. I love the one on Nick Ortiz too. He's the nicest one.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
speaking about Dakota Meyer, do you remember the story, or have you ever heard the story of when they called him because he like saying, "Hey, you got this thing. Like you're gonna get it."
Yeah, I wonder how that goes down.
So the way he tells it's hilarious. So look that video up. That's the homework for tonight. But long story short, he's working construction. Like he's out of the Marine Corps. He's working construction, doing his thing. Well, he gets a phone call. He's like, I don't know this number. So he answers it. And they're like, hey, this is so and so from the White House. And he's like, get fucked. Don't ever call me back. And hung the phone up.
Ah!
So they immediately call him right back. And they're like, no, hey, man, this is serious. Just so you know, we're like you're probably gonna receive this award. And he was like, what are y'all even talking about? And they're like, yeah, the president wants to meet you. And at this time, it was the Obama administration. And I want to say it was like right when Obama took office the first time, I think. It was within that first couple of years. And they're like, yeah, we want to bring you up here, let you meet the president, all this other stuff. And he's like, just being this construction worker that gives zero fucks. He's like, yeah, tell him I want to drink a beer with him. And Obama's like, fuck yeah, let's go drink a beer with him. So
he drank one with Joe the plumber.
Yeah. So there's a picture of Obama and him like at the White House drinking a beer, and like that's cool. And then when they go to the actual ceremony, there's a bunch of dudes from his platoon in there, and like Forrest Gump, they had all the Dr. Peppers you could drink, right? So they had all this beer, and they're all wasted, and Dakota Meyer's wasted, and you can see like his face is red while he's getting it. He's doing his best not to fall down. So it's like true Marine stuff,
Is that the one where the guy was doing his best not to bust out laughing? And he was like,
No.
they penetrated and ran deep.
Yeah, he was like on his tiny post, he kept getting pounded.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Great. Romachet was pretty much the same way when he got that call.
Yeah,
Or his retelling of it on Unsub.
that's
He
where
was
I heard
like,
this from.
yeah. He was like, fuck that. He's like, who are you? Leave me alone. I will not be at safety brief.
Yeah.
Will not be at accountability. So that's awesome. And like you would think they would send a letter.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be called by some secretary from Washington. And but I don't know, like I got a piece of mail the other day and I was like, the hell is this antique piece of shit right here? It's like, who's sending me mail? It's like,
Yeah,
are you
it doesn't
kidding me?
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it does not. And because I sure as shit don't want it and I don't want to open it and I don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was my insurance cards and I was like, I guess I need that.
So we switched insurance company probably a year and a half ago, and it wasn't until 3 days ago that I put it on my phone. I don't
Well,
know what I was going to tell the cops when I got pulled over, but I did not have them handy.
well, they can look it up. I mean, they got those computers in their cars and if they know, if I can go to an insurance website and put in my tag number and they tell me how many cars I own,
Mm-hmm.
it's out there.
Yeah.
They can find it. Fuck the police. The police are crazy. I don't mess with them.
I like the cops, but until they pull me over, you know?
Yeah, like I've always said, I don't mess with the police, but I don't mess with the police. I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
probably not doing anything worthy of your time.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends that are cops, and you do too, you know, like I've got a lot of friends and they're cool. They're my friends. But if I get pulled over, it's business, you know?
I do not have a single cop friend.
Well, you know the people you
I know people
with.
who are cops. And if they needed something, I would direct them appropriately, but I don't hang out with cops. I be doing some shit sometimes, man.
Sometimes you got to.
I mean, sometimes I be doing some shit. I just don't need to be friends with no cops. And man, when I was much younger, I was probably fresh out of the army. I was fresh in the fire service. I was a young guy, probably had a sort of decent character at the time. And a guy I knew was cool with a cop and got arrested by him. And I'm kind of like, all right, if you got arrested, you must have deserved to get arrested. And whatever. And he got arrested a bunch of times after that too. So it was probably
Fine.
going to happen. Yeah. But I was just kind of like, I don't want to arrest any of my friends. I don't want to be arrested by any of my friends. It's like, I don't sleep with my friends' ex-partners because that there's just a code. You do not wrong somebody that you were friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like getting arrested by somebody you're friends with is wrong.
Yeah.
But I also, wouldn't put myself in a position to get arrested by my friends.
Yeah.
I would be like, I just, but yeah, so I don't mess with the police.
Yeah. Cops are okay. I like the cops.
I don't have a problem with them. I just don't mess with them.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of the same way with firemen now. Like whenever I go ride my skateboard and I see a fire truck, I always show them my titties. I mean, because it's a polite thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate it.
Yeah.
Except that the majority of the fire department is not anyone I know now. So all these young dudes are like, the fuck just happened? It's like, why would you do that?
Because
There
I
might
was
be
one of
some,
you one time. Because I was one of
yeah,
you.
there might be some guy sitting on the right going, don't ask, he just does that. Like, be glad it was his tits.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, turning pages, man. I just don't go back. Let's turn the page. Let's talk about the helicopter wreck. New information has come out about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably not a mast bump. That's what you were thinking of, that you couldn't get to, and then it was everywhere. It had to be a mast bump. It had to be a mast bump. And
So,
then I saw it.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. This is more your
Me,
field.
me and one of the guys at work was talking, the guy that actually flies the thing. And he seems to think that the main rotor is just separated. He said if it was a mass bump, it would be a lot further back. He said he thinks it just came detached, and because like the whole housing and stuff was on there, it wasn't like the Jesus nut came off and the blades just left. Like it was the whole housing that you see flying off. So he thinks it detached and then chopped the tail rotor off, and that's why you see it inverted when it came in touchdown. But I haven't seen the new information, so please help.
Yeah. So, because I looked at it once, the feed's all about that now. So two different videos that I watched, and if I remembered them, I would have credited them with their information because they both seemed very logical. One showed how the top rotor and the back and the tail rotor connect to the transmission where it's
Mm-hmm.
exchanging power. And they said if it had been a mast bump, you would have seen a broken rotor. It would
Mm-hmm.
not have auto gyrated down to the ground the way that it did. I said it. There's no way that it would have hit the mast with enough force to break the mast off and to break the entire rotor assembly off of the helicopter without breaking the rotor.
Yeah.
So it would not have auto gyrated down, and you can clearly see two uh, two rotors still spinning.
Mm-hmm.
So it appears that uh, so there is a metal indicator for the transmission oil
Yeah,
in
the
the
ship
rotor.
lights.
Do it.
Yeah, so just to fill everybody else in, there is magnets throughout the engine that um, that they're magnetized all the time. So if a piece of metal comes to those magnets, it creates a chip light. And that's just saying, hey, there's something that's probably getting chewed up in here. So we've got two different types of landings when we have a mechanical issue. And this one is like land as soon as possible versus land as soon as practical. If you have a chip light, is you land as soon as you possibly can in a field, wherever you can safely get it down at, as quick as you can. Because if like there's metal flakes floating through there, you don't want your transmission to get gummed up and then you're effed.
Yes. And so one of the videos that I watched that I found to be logical and informative, not a helicopter expert at all. I can tell you a lot about dog food, but not so much about helicopter mechanics. But one of them said that if that chip light had been altered or malfunctioned or whatever, and that gear assembly locked up very immediately, that there
Oh,
would have been enough force to break it from these two U-shaped brackets that hold it to the aircraft, and it would have spun away. The immediate twist from the tail rotor could have been powerful enough to break the rotor away. Also, uh, just the shock from the top rotor breaking away could have torn the tail rotor away as well. And they said until the NTSB tells you what happened, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, that makes logical sense because you can definitely see two rotors, and it took it a long time for it to come down. So, it could auto gyrate aircraft to the ground if it had to, but it wasn't attached anymore. So that was a problem.
Yeah.
And but also it made me remember when I was taking my flight course, there were some videos of helicopter incidents. And one of them was they had just loaded, they started to ascend, and they clipped a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the rotor itself, it's not a piece of metal. It's multiple pieces of like fiberglass or carbon fiber. And it just opened up and it made this god-awful noise. But the pilot was able to sit it back down, albeit kind of harshly, but it got back down. And so if something hits the rotor, it's going to open it up a lot like when a weed whacker hits a thick weed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the picture of the rotors that I saw, they were together. Like, I was like, they were not opened up like the image I saw in that class. Again, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and like a lot of people don't realize how sensitive those blades are. Because them just touching something, you pull them out of service for. Because and it's like just a barely like a touch. You've got to pull the whole thing out of service because they're flimsy. They really are. Like the last crash air evac life team had in Oklahoma, I think. They were coming in short and final on a scene. They were doing their orbit and they landed there several times. There was a tower that goes straight up. They had guide wires coming off. The pilot did not see the guide wires. And probably they've landed there 100 times. He probably didn't care. He's like, it's fine. I got it. But when he clipped the guide wire was fine. Didn't affect the guide wire at all. But it chopped the blades off and caused them to crash and kill everybody on board.
Ooh.
Yeah, we lost 3 out of that, and that was a year ago in January, because I was about to go to New Hire, and it was a week right before I went to New Hire.
Yikes!
Yeah.
So, boom, money shot. I have seen multiple successful small plane landings on the 4-lane in traffic.
Really?
Not personally. I've seen them happening. I think I remember that story. But I also remember the one in the county next to us that didn't stop at the end of the runway.
Yeah.
And you could see that from the road. And
they had one today at that same airport.
Really?
Yeah, Cessna, I don't know what happened, but he landed in a field adjacent to that airport.
But yeah, that's there was one in the city that I used to work for. And there was a interstate, and I think he was aiming for the interstate, and something happened. He knew he couldn't make it, and he saw like a big 5-lane to the left of the interstate, and so he came down onto the 5-lane, and it would have been fine because it was late at night. There's nobody out there, but they don't mark power lines over the 5-lane the way that they do over the interstate.
Mm,
And interesting thing about the interstate system, do you know what makes something an Eisenhower interstate, 5-star Eisenhower interstate?
every 5 miles, you can land a plane on it.
Believe it's 10.
Is it 10? I knew that you could land a
Yeah.
plane on it. That's why the Autobahn, he modeled it after the Autobahn because that's what they do.
Yeah. So,
It's free of obstructions. You can land a plane on it.
and it is why you have to have those big balls on the power lines as they cross over it. So they mark the area that you could land on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So it's it happens. Sometimes. I believe that's what was trying to happen in Boca Raton. And that little guy who crashed his plane there last week. And so yeah, sometimes it's just not easy to pull over in the air.
No.
You got to find some place. AutoZone seems like a good place.
Yeah, worked out well for that dude.
When I was a young paramedic, we had become friends with a helicopter crew and invited them to lunch. And I guess we thought that, like on their off day, they would come and eat lunch with us. Nope. Flew the helicopter right to the Chinese restaurant.
Hell yeah.
Parked it in the parking lot. Came
Yes.
in and had some General Tso's chicken.
That's badass. You can't do that shit no more, but that's badass.
Yeah. And I don't know what I was thinking, but that they were going to do. But yeah, that's exactly what they did. They were just like, okay. We were like, oh, y'all are coming today. Come on in. Let's get that buffet going.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the summer is approaching us pretty fast, right?
Yes, I'm ready.
Is there anything you do to prepare for the summer?
I get all the window units out of the garage. I don't know if you can tell from the background or not, but I live in a very old house. There is no central heat. There's no central air. There used to be a wood stove in a central part.
I love a good wood stove.
Yeah, I wish it was still there. It's not. If I could find a wood stove, I would probably put one in. Probably burn. Yeah, man, but people right now they think shit's worth something.
You telling me?
And I really think that I would prefer to just buy a new one. So we're talking about a couple of $100. I mean, it's not like we're talking about something. I have a skateboard that costs more, so it's it's just one of those things that I haven't done. But also, that's kind of one of those things that, like, I've got a little gas heater that I use in the winter when it gets cold. And so I'll probably take the propane tanks out of the living room because I'm classy. But yeah, you get a wood stove going, and man, it is how hot it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and in the mornings, it's difficult for me because I'm like, I am old and I don't like to be cold anymore. So in the mornings, I like it to be warm because I'm probably naked and I got to beat feet into the bathroom and brush my teeth, put my socks on and everything else. And I don't want to be cold.
Mm-hmm.
And if I try and go to sleep with the wood stove going, it's going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to sweat and I'm going to be sweaty and cold. And so it's very nostalgic. It's very beautiful. I wouldn't mind having it for the weekends, but don't know how practical it is.
Sure.
Back to the summer. Yeah, I'll get the window units out and get them cleaned up, and probably do that tomorrow after I cut the grass. And get them back in service, and uh, probably visit some of the capsules at the gym, to get some of this paleness taken care of.
The capsules.
Capsules. If ever you're having a bad day, I will send you a capsule picture. You may see more than you want to see. You may not. But my gym has a red light capsule, so I like that.
That is something I've never done, and I don't plan on it.
Red light capsule or tanning capsule?
Tanning or what, any capsule. Never done it.
I would recommend red light capsule.
Why?
So it doesn't give you a tan. It's not gonna like tingle your skin or anything like that. It's just gonna stimulate collagen, and like especially if you go through a time where it's been dark or rainy or something like that, and you're not getting appropriate amounts of vitamin D, then it can be very beneficial, especially for your skin. And like you can't get to be my age and look as young as I do without doing something. I mean, you're going to have to drink a lot or get in a red light capsule.
Do it all.
What about you? What are you planning? What are you doing for the summer?
Man, so just my intake of water is going up because dehydration is a bitch. So doing a lot more of that. Replace some of my equipment that I carry in my car to be more instead of like wintertime stuff. Excuse me. It's summertime stuff,
Yeah. Really trying to work on those big muscles too. Like, gotta get summer ready.
Man, I'm still cutting down a pretty good bit right now. I'm down to a whole 164 pounds.
Right.
I will tell you something. Let me tell you this. I have given it about half a month, 14, 15 days. I have started taking a beef organ supplement. It's like six, like I don't care. That is the best money I've spent. It has really, really changed a lot of things.
I guess the wind was blowing where you were. You said you're taking a B4 supplement?
No, beef organ.
Beef organ. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started taking that. There's some people that says you only need the liver. I take everything, right? So I've got pancreas, kidney, spleen, um, the liver in there, and there's something else. There's like 5 freaking organs. But it's 6 capsules a day, and it's like the best thing I've done. Like my sleeping's a lot better. My energy is a lot better. Yeah, it's great.
No, don't you eat pretty much a carnivore diet?
Not completely. I do eat. I'm pretty strict. Like I've cut out a lot of the snacks that I have. Um, I'll get like grass-fed beef, or I'll get like beef jerky or something like that. That's my snacks now.
Yeah.
I'm snacking a hell of a lot less than I was. Oh, yogurt, gotta have yogurt. But I'm snacking a hell of a lot less than I was. I'm eating a lot better. I'm not as hungry as I was,
Yeah.
and I'm really liking how I feel right now.
Yeah. I took a week off from the gym to nurse some soreness, and I was like, I've been hitting this just like nonstop. So I took a week off, and this is the week back, and I felt really, really good with my lifts, and where I was at 80%, and I was hitting RPEs of 8. I stayed at an RPE of 6 or 7. And I was like, I probably could have gone more, but then I was like, oh look, I've got DOMs after 1 week off. That's lovely.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. Beef organ. I'm going to look into that probably tonight. beef
Yeah,
organ
so
supplements.
I got mine off Amazon. I think it's ancestral something. That's what
Yeah.
I take. It's uh and one thing that I like is like you know how you have a bad taste in your mouth after you take pills, like if you start burping or something like that.
Oh yeah, like everybody got us into fish oil, and
Oh God.
oh man, the farts and the burps.
Yeah, so the burps is like you just ate a freaking steak and you're burping afterwards. That's what it tastes like.
Mhm.
It's really not that bad, you know. Um, but yeah, I'm doing that. And I'm also the only other supplement I'm taking right now is lion's mane.
Right on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the lion's mane.
Don't look like you've got a wonderful mane.
Oh, thanks.
It looks great. It's great. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to see if Max Lugavere's talked about organ supplements.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good research on it. If there's one to take, I would say just like beef liver.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm
I
just
do not eat liver.
yeah.
I have tried it. You know, they say every 7 years your tastes evolve.
Mm.
And every single time I've tasted liver, I'm like, nope.
You remember old Liver King?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
That's
pretty sure he's the owner of Ancestral Labs,
there
but
you
like I
go.
don't care. It's fine.
So you're probably taking steroids. That's why you feel good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Um, yeah, people like him, and I'm real weird about the fitness influencers that I take, and I like the middle ground people. Like I really like Will Tennyson and Jesse James and Tyler Shuck, uh, Joey Delaney. These guys these are not people who are like beastly. Tanner Shuck kind of is, but um, I don't like the guys who are like if somebody ever pushes a supplement or says that I have to be on a thing to look like them, I'm like, oh, immediately turned off.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no. Um, there's a big dude. He's English. He's got black hair. I see him in conjunction with Joey Swole quite a bit.
Mm.
He's kind of got the same. Well, Joey Swole's got a certain aggressiveness, and this other guy, but he talks a lot about gym culture and how to be nice and everything else, and um, he is honest about using gear. Like he's not
Oh,
using TRT, but he's using gear. I'm not saying Joey Swole is, but the guy that I can't think of his name.
yeah.
Uh,
Joey Swole is absolutely on gear.
I
Look at him.
well,
Look
I
at
don't
him.
I don't watch Joey Swole for that. But I don't know if Joey Swole is or not because isn't he in recovery?
From what?
Alcohol and drugs.
That dude is 100% on testosterone. 1,000%
Okay.
on it.
Okay. I mean, don't be mad at me. I don't
Look
know.
at him. You can't
I
get
only
that. From you.
I only ever watch the Do Better videos. I don't
Do
go to
better.
him. I don't go to him for like my exercise videos.
Dude, look at him. I mean, he's got a
Yeah.
great body, but look at him.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be one of the people that intimidated me in the gym. I'd be like, ooh, stop. You're making too much noise. Shh. Be quiet. It's but yeah. Uh, but yeah, the people like Liver King, and I like listening to Chris Bumstead. Like
Oh,
I like
sweet mom.
I like listening to his voice. There's something about it that I find soothing.
Listening to him.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I get
love
it,
it. I love it.
but it's like Max Towie from We the 66. Like, dude could read me the phone book, and I'd be like, yeah, yeah, 6785, yeah, I like that. So it's I don't know, but yeah, I don't like the extreme people, and like I don't even like Jeff Nippard.
Hmm.
Like I like his science based stuff, and Who's the guy that he's always with? Renaissance periodization or something like that. Can't think of that guy's name, but he's always with him. And but the guy who slapped Jeff Nippert.
Oh yeah.
And I don't watch that guy. That guy's I'm not that. There's nothing for me to learn or gain from that.
Mm-hmm.
But that guy on every one of his videos was trying to sell some supplements. It's as bad as Nick Bear.
Oh yeah.
And I really like Nick Bear, but I'm just like, dude, I'm not buying your supplements. I'm like, it's not what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
They
got to make money somehow.
I'm fine with it. Like, they've got their niche, but I'm just not into it, not really going for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all the vet bros with the gun stores. It's like, I'm not mad at you. Do your thing. Just not into it.
For sure.
So yeah.
So what's plans for this Easter weekend before we wrap this little guy up?
So I did not know that it was Easter.
Surprise.
Yeah. So I, got plans to do some much needed yard work, get rid of some poison oak. So I got a lot of it. And probably cook some food.
Hell yeah.
Probably do some fishing.
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah. And probably got to get up underneath my car and see what's making the bump. And getting a random clunk every now and again. And I think it's the axle that I had replaced. Yeah. So
good luck.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. So I've been on the bikes a lot more. So but it's supposed to rain like all of next week. So I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm not really doing anything. I'm not a religious person, so I'm not going to church. This girl at work, she's just infatuated with me for some reason, and she's like, "Do you want to come to my church for the Easter service?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Will there be food? Like, are they going to pass out candy?" It's like, because this other girl, she filled up a basket up at the front desk, and I went to the front a lot today. I had like 4 packs of those little Easter basket packs of Skittles today. I was hyped. Man. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you know why they're Easter packs? Because it's Easter.
Well, I knew that was the holiday that was coming up. I go to Walmart.
Said I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's the season, but I thought it had already passed. And I'm like, why are we open on Good Friday? Like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? Like, I don't understand. So it's yeah. But yeah, what about you? You going to floss your teeth?
Yes, I've got to fly tomorrow. Picked up an overtime shift. So I'll be working tomorrow and then I'm off Sunday. So we'll see what happens Sunday.
Yeah, you can go and get right with the Lord.
Need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling somebody that I'm a religious flosser, and they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, every Easter and Christmas." Yep, it's an old Ellen DeGeneres joke. Tell me I'm not tolerant.
Oh, Ellen.
Yeah, that guy. Or whatever.
Don't touch me.
Stop it. Stop it. Is it weird that I don't like to be touched?
I don't like to be touched either.
I mean, if there's a reason to touch me, by all means, touch me. You know, like if you're going to save my life or something, but don't just come in and put your hands on my shoulders and stuff.
Nope,
I'm like,
can't stand it.
and you know, so I know what it's like for women who have tits because I have tattoos, and people think that because I have tattoos, they have the right to like touch me or to like try and look down my shirt and all this other stuff. And I'm like, hey, that's not cool at
Yeah.
all. It's like, can you remember any time that you have seen me at work without sleeves on?
Not per se.
Yeah, because I don't think it's happened since 2010.
Yeah.
I have, it does not matter how hot it is outside. I'm certain that I have gone to REI and bought some sort of a sun shirt that matches whatever uniform I'm wearing at the time and have always been wearing sleeves. And I'm just like, if you can see my tattoos, I've invited you into part of my life. But that doesn't give you permission to touch me.
Yeah. Don't touch me.
No touchy, no touch, no touch. Just look, no touch.
Yeah. Like patients, do not touch me. I cannot stand that.
Do you remember the time that I picked the guy up and he was like trying to touch me with his doo-doo hand?
Yes.
And like 3 people were concerned that I was going to murder this man and had him burritoed up.
Like you do.
Yeah. And I was like, no touchy. No, don't touch me. And it's always made me crazy to see people that will like, hey, look at this picture on my phone. And then they'll give it to you. And I'm like, ooh, I put that to my face sometimes. Don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch it. Just look. Just look. No touchy. No touchy. Yes. Well, we're going to no touch this into the dirt. So thank you all for hanging around with us to this point in the day where we ramble on about anything.
Yes.
If you are a Medal of Honor recipient, go back active. I think it's awesome. You know, I wonder if like, if you're a Medal of Honor recipient, could you go back and be like, hey, I want to go to helicopter school?
Oh, dude. You should have first choice of your schools.
Yeah.
And you know the instructor's not going to drop you. You know?
Yeah, they can't. They're like, why, why did you put this guy out of your school?
Yeah.
He's a Medal of Honor recipient.
Yeah.
Or
they're
she.
not going to drop him.
There's been some female Medal of Honor recipients.
Has there?
Mhm.
Oh,
I don't think there's been many.
yeah.
I can think of 2 off the top of my head. But
Helen Keller.
say that again.
Helen Keller.
Oh, they have one.
Um,
Yeah. You know, yeah. I'm not gonna go to hell tonight. It's Easter. It's Easter. I'm not going to hell tonight. I might, but I don't want to. But I'm not going to Publix either. Yeah, I think in one of the things that I read in prep that I saw that there had been 2 female recipients and 1 Coast Guardian. But then you brought it up, and so that confirmed it. I was like, oh, yep.
yeah, there was one in
That's
World War II.
obviously true then.
Yeah, it was in World War II.
I think there was one 14-year-old also.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was one that had a very young age. But I think there were some special circumstances.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How old was Audie Murphy when he went in?
Young.
Yeah. So maybe
I
it
think he
was
was
him.
either 14 or 15 when he went in. I think.
Might have been him.
About his age. And I think he was like 20 when he got it. I don't know.
So, but yeah, but thank you all. have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the resurrection. I guess it's kind of morbid, really, if you think about it. But do you? I stand up for your rights.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone. Leave comments. We love them.
Yes. Like, comment, share.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.